comment on my last video that they think I'm really annoying, and I'm just like, I am a really annoying person. I am. And I give out all these good information and nuggets. Like, I hope you can overlook how annoying I can be. I say all the time in my videos how annoying I am, but it's not your problem essentially. One day someone's gonna have to marry me and deal with my annoying behind for the rest of their life. But you don't, so let's just try to overlook it. Yes, I am an annoying person. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Theo if you're new around here, and today I'm gonna talk to you about 9 ways that you can prepare for a possible stock market crash. So there has been tons of rumors going around and tons of speculations of people saying that there will be a stock market crash maybe in 2019 going into 2020. So I thought it'd be a really great idea to talk about how we can prepare for that, to be as best prepared as we can if there is a stock market crash. Let's get into it. So first, I do want to say that I'm not saying that there's going to be a stock market crash. I'm not saying to do anything. This is pure entertainment. None of this is financial advice. With that being said, my first way is cash is king. So if there is a stock market crash, you do not want to have most of your investments in stocks, because if the market were to crash, then so would all of your money. You want things that are pretty liquid. Stocks in general are pretty liquid where you can cash out when you want, but if right now you have $10,000 in the stocks and then looking at historical trends, if it were to drop 30%, you'd only have $7,000. So you would want to have more cash on hand, because no matter what happens, if there's another Great Depression or a stock market crash, we're still gonna be using dollars, cash to trade goods and services. We're not gonna all of a sudden just start exchanging gold and precious metals. It's always gonna be cash. So whether prices do go up at a grocery store, we're always gonna need cash. However, I'm not recommending you start selling off all your stocks and just getting out of the stock market. That's something you're gonna have to decide on yourself. And as we've seen, or historical trends have shown, that assets always are going up. No matter Great Depressions, depressions, bubble popping, it's like a little blimp in the time span of the whole stock market history. But if you are close to retirement and you're about to retire in the next 10 years or less, this is something you might wanna be more wary about, because you won't have as much time to bounce back as somebody who is 26 years old, for example. Okay, my second way to prepare for a stock market crash is to get ahead of your bills. I personally recommend that you should try to get ahead of your bills for about 6 months in advance. So let's say you live in the middle of nowhere and cost of living is really cheap, and you only spend about $1,000 in total a month for all of your necessities. So your rent or mortgage, your food, your car to get to work, your gas, everything, it's $1,000. I wish, Lord knows I wish. So you would want to save at least $6,000. So if something were to ever happen where you lose your job, it's a stock market crash, people are being laid off, it's chaos, it's just craziness, you have at least 6 months to kind of have a buffer period so you can figure out what you can do, side hustle it more or whatever. But 6 months is a good rule of thumb to be thinking about. My third way to prepare is when the stock market is going down, a really horrible idea is to try to be leveraging money in stocks. You should never be leveraging other people's money in stocks when it is a downturn in the market. So leveraging is a really good way to make a lot of money very quickly. But if you're putting these stocks on credit cards and you're not able to pay it back, you can lose a lot of money, like a lot of money. I've seen people lose $50,000 doing this. Some people make a lot of money, but a lot of people don't. So if you don't know what you're doing, you should not be leveraging money in stocks, especially trading if you're not really that well versed in it. It's just not a good idea. Like, don't do it. Okay, my fourth way is to not think or assume that the stock market is your friend. I know in general, the stock market has always gone up. It always will go up. Things now are gonna be cheaper than it will be in the future, but to assume that things won't get worse is a really bad idea. And that it's just gonna go up soon or whatever is just a really bad idea. You know, I don't wanna be a pessimist, but you know, when the last crash, I think the stocks dropped about 30%, and now we have an even higher deficit. We have even more debt. The bubble is even bigger. So what a lot of financial advisors are saying, that since the bubble is even bigger now than it was in 2008 and 2001 and then the Great Depression, that it will explode even more and stocks will go down even more. So we're looking at, it could, don't know, it could drop as low as 60 50, 60% of the stock value, which is a lot more than before. And it's also a lot easier to recover from a 20% drop or a 30% drop than it is from a 50 to 60% drop. So just be wary of that. Okay, my number 5 is not to be buying a lot of different stocks at once, but instead to be buying little by little. So I don't know if you guys remember in December when there was like this little blimp when the stocks were going down and everyone was like, oh my God, the stock market crash, it's coming. And I remember I was like, oh my God, it's starting. And me being not that great with stocks, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is the beginning. It's gonna start going down. So I waited and I was like, okay, it's gonna keep going down. So I'm not gonna buy right now. I'm gonna wait until it goes like to oblivion and then I'm gonna start buying because you buy low, sell high. Well, that didn't happen as you saw. So in December, it went down and then went back up. What you should do instead of trying to do what I did, trying to time out the stock market and try to buy a lot when it's down really, really low, which no one can time it. Instead, it would have been a great idea for me to buy a little bit when it was down that much. And then I would have rode the wave up. But you know, I didn't do that. So it's a good idea to just buy a little bit at a time. For example, with Tesla, I'm a big Tesla fan. I love Tesla. I don't care what anybody says. I think it's a great company. But the reality is they're like tens of billions of dollars in debt. Like they have a lot of debt. They do not have cash flow. It's kind of a mess. Still believe in them. Still believe in Elon. But anyways, for example, right now is the first time that has ever dropped below $200. So in my opinion, if you believe in Tesla, this could be a great time to buy like a little bit. And then if it goes lower, you buy a little bit more, buy a little bit more. Not saying to go buy Tesla, not saying to go sell Tesla, just saying like, it's better to buy a little bit at a time instead of buying a ton and then it drops until oblivion. And then you're like, damn, I just lost a lot of money. But if you do it a little by little, you can improve your position and just always get a better deal. But it obviously has to be with a stock and a company that you really do believe is gonna do better. So for example, if there is ever a stock market crash and Amazon goes down 40, 50%, this would be a great buy because we all know Amazon's gonna be around for at least another 10 years. Same with Apple, great company, they're always innovating. Google, companies like that right now they're kind of expensive, but if they ever had a drop, that would be a great time to buy a little bit at a time until you have more of your position. Okay, number 6 is that any unexpected income should be saved and not spent. So sometimes if you have an actual good company you work for and they give you bonuses and like surprise money, you never want to spend that if you are trying to prepare for a stock market crash. You should just save it. So if they give you a little bit of extra money, like Christmas is coming up in like 7 months and they give you, I don't know, like $2,000 extra, you know, you should just save that. Don't go out and buy more stuff for your kids. Sorry kids, don't go and get your hair done. Just save that money, act like you never got it. So that money is just extra money for you if the stock market crashes. Okay, my 7th way is to expect things are gonna get worse before they get better. Once again, I do not wanna be a pessimist, but the reality is when the economy is not good and if there is a crash, things do get a lot worse before they get better. It can take years and years before the economy to get back to where it was before. And it's just a part of the cycle. And it's not something we need to be scared of. We just have to be prepared for it because we see these cycles all the time and we are heading towards one of these cycles that should be going down, but just expect things to get worse before they get better. Number 8 is something you can do every day with your lifestyle. Getting used to saying no to people when you know you can't afford it. So I have a problem with this. I suffer from extreme FOMO all the time. I always wanted to do everything. I want to go to every event. I want to go to every country. I want to see everything. It's really bad, even when I know I have money goals and it's like this year in particular, I want to save $20,000. I'm halfway through the year, not looking too great, but but being able to say no to things, no, I cannot go to Applebee's with you, no, I cannot like get food, late night drinks, whatever, is just gonna really help you save more money. So then if there is a stock market crash, you're ready, you're ready. Number 9, and I think this is actually really important, and I know it kind of sounds silly, but practicing at least once a week living in actual poverty and living like you actually are struggling. I don't want to sound pretentious or anything, but traveling all over the world and have lived all over the world, poverty around the rest of the world is not like the poverty here. You know, people making $20,000, $30,000 a year is nothing like the poverty in other countries, you know, where you're literally living under a shack with no food. Market crashes can be really ugly. And if you're under 28 years old, you probably haven't actually experienced a real market crash because you were in high school still. In 2008 at least, you should have been in high school if you're under 28. So we didn't really experience looking for a job, having to pay for a mortgage, support kids, and you know, all of this, like, you know, you were a student, you were a kid. Your parents probably tried to shelter you if your parents lost their job in this moment. Honestly, I don't remember anything, my life changing at all because I was a kid. Yeah, going to cut your own hair, for example, is something you can start doing. Learning that eating stale food is not the end of the world, or for dinner, you just have like some vegetables, like just that's it. Going to the library for entertainment, that's free. And learning to enjoy the taste of tap water, for example. Poverty, honestly, in other countries are a lot worse than they are in the United States, but just be ready when companies are laying off people in massive amounts of numbers and people are losing their job and it's just chaos. Just be prepared that you might lose some luxuries that you have. There's a lot of like alarmists out there and extremists that are like, oh my God, it's not that big of a deal. And maybe it's not, but it's just good to be prepared because we don't know. We've never lived through one of these and they say that this is supposed to be worse than the other ones. We shall see. I hope not. I hope somehow we figure it out and it just doesn't burst, but I guess it just has to, right? That's how the system works. So anyways, those are my 9 ways to prepare for a stock market crash. Please do let me know if you did live through a stock market crash and you remember drastically how things changed. Please let us know in the comments what other things we should prepare for and what other things you can do for a crash. I know some people are like, oh, get tons of bottled water, and some people are like, get a bunch of canned food, but I don't know. Let us know though. We really appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.